This couldn't have happened without every single one of you, and that's in the literal sense in the Senate. Every single one was required because the other team didn't want to play. And all our distinguished guests, CEOs, advocates, activists, thank you for joining us. And what a great day. Exactly 4 weeks ago today, I signed the Inflation Reduction Act into law.
This is my first video update coming to you from Nicosia, Cyprus on this Thursday morning. You saw the opening intro of Joe Bidenopoulos, Greece's favorite son, taking a victory lap with regards to the Inflation Reduction Act. And Biden was really happy and really proud that he has passed an act that will reduce inflation on the very same day that the inflation numbers came out, and inflation continues to go up. And talk about some bad timing for a victory lap. I don't understand why the Biden White House, seeing the inflation report, seeing the numbers that are about to be released, why they just didn't say, you know what, Joe, let's wait until next week before we, as we announce the Inflation Reduction Act. Let's just put a pause in it. Let's let the numbers come out, and let's wait until next week to take this victory lap. But nope, they had to come out with this celebration on the very same day, at the exact same moment that the inflation numbers came out, and the inflation numbers were absolutely ugly. They were brutal, and stocks crashed. S&P crashed, the Dow crashed. The markets are in panic because they see the cost of living go up. They see food prices go up. They see the prices related to housing and to shelter going up. And this is in spite of the fact that over the past 80 days, the Bidenopoulos White House, they used every trick in the book to bring the price of gas down and to make the price of gas hit some sort of stability. And in spite of all of this manipulation from the Biden White House related to the price of gas, the inflation numbers continued to rise. And that is some really, really bad news for the Bidenopoulos White House as they head into midterms coming up in under 2 months now. So this was some really, really bad optics for the Biden White House, really bad optics. And let's talk about some different optics, perhaps some good optics coming out of Uzbekistan and coming out of the SCO and the New World Order. You have the big SCO meeting taking place in Uzbekistan. All the big leaders are going to be there from the Fair World Order. Let's call it the Fair World Order Alliance. You're going to have Russian President Vladimir Putin there. You're going to have the Indian Prime Minister Modi there. You're going to have China's Xi Jinping there as well. You're also going to have Turkish President Erdogan. Turkey is at the SCO as an observer nation, as is Afghanistan as well. They are also an observer nation of the SCO. Iran is going to be joining the SCO during this summit, and you're going to have a lot of big important meetings taking place. Putin meeting with Modi, that's a huge meeting. Putin meeting with Erdogan, that's going to be a very big meeting, especially given the rising tensions between Azerbaijan and Armenia. And I'm positive that Putin is going to tell Erdogan to just cut it out with regards to Azerbaijan and Armenia. Everyone knows that Turkey is the big sponsor behind Azerbaijan, and it's most likely Erdogan that's nudging Azerbaijan to press forward with this conflict with Armenia. And I'm positive that Putin is going to pull Erdogan off to the sidelines of the summit, and he's going to tell Erdogan to cut it out. And I'm positive that Putin is going to present a very convincing case to Erdogan as to why Turkey needs to tell Azerbaijan to freeze things with regards to the renewed hostilities between Azerbaijan and Armenia. So that's going to be a very important meeting as well. And of course, you have the big meeting between Xi Jinping and Putin. And on the agenda is Ukraine. They said that Ukraine is going to be on the agenda. And the collective West, they are framing this as a meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and what have I read from the collective West? A meeting between a defeated Vladimir Putin and his superior in China. I've read articles saying that. I've read articles saying that it's Putin meeting with his Red Emperor. An article said he's going to be meeting with the Red Emperor Xi Jinping. And the narrative is that defeated Putin after the great Kharkov counteroffensive, which saw Ukraine take 3,000 square kilometers of territory in Kharkov, which was completely empty and undefended by Russian military. After the Ukraine mounted a successful counteroffensive in empty, undefended land, Putin is on his last legs. He is a defeated man, and he is now seeking the assistance of China in order to help Russia avoid an embarrassing defeat at the hands of the clown puppet Zelensky. And that is the narrative coming out of the collective West. And you know, it's very Hollywood-like, and it sounds very sexy. You know, the defeated Putin is going to meet with what do they say, the Red Emperor. He's going to meet with the Red Emperor, and he's going to seek assistance from his masters in China in order to avoid a defeat at the brave hands of the clown puppet comedian. But the reality of the situation is that Putin and the Kremlin is very calm. They're advancing on Bakhmut. Their goals remain the same, which is demilitarization, denazification, and to secure the liberation of Lugansk and Donetsk, which they are getting closer to every single day. And the Russian economy is doing great when you consider the economic sanctions that were thrown at it, the historic economic shock and awe sanctions that were levied against Russia. The Russian economy is doing incredible, better than I think even Putin expected. While the collective West, well, the inflation numbers in the United States are the least of the worries with regards to the collective West economies, because the European Union is, well, it's in a deindustrialization phase. And right now, the EU is collapsing every single day, more and more. And it doesn't seem like they have any answers to stop the collapse. Vander Crazy doesn't have any answers. It seems like the only solution that they have to stop the collapse of the EU economies is to dress up in blue and gold attire and give empty State of the Union addresses to a bunch of clapping parliamentary seals. you know what I mean? That's pretty much all they have. That is it. There are no solutions to stop the collapse of the EU. But Putin and Xi, when they say that they're going to talk about Ukraine, what you got to remember is that Ukraine, when they say Ukraine, they actually mean the neoliberal globalist order, because Ukraine is nothing more than an avatar for neoliberalism and globalism. And much the same way that when the EU or the US says that they're going to support Ukraine until the very end, that they're never going to give up on Ukraine, and that they're going to discuss how to continue to prop up Ukraine, what they really mean is they're going to support neoliberal globalism until the very end. That is what Ukraine is. It's an avatar for the neoliberal globalist world order. And it's no different than the avatar for globalism and neoliberalism, which took the form of that thing that that we had 2 years ago, that thing that I can't name, because when I name it on this channel, my channel gets obliterated. But you know what I mean. Ukraine is the new thing that represents neoliberalism and globalism. So the disservice that is happening with regards to the citizens of the collective West is that they are being led to believe that Xi Jinping is going to be speaking with Putin in order to help Putin out with regards to the conflict in Ukraine. That is wrong. Putin and Xi Jinping are going to be talking about de-dollarization and moving away from the U.S. dollar hegemony, and they're going to be planning their next steps. And a military win in Ukraine is one of those very small pieces to that puzzle, to that U.S. dollar hegemony puzzle. But more to the point of the military campaign in Ukraine is the overall economic war and the sanctions war. That's a bigger piece to the puzzle with regards to moving away from U.S. dollar hegemony, and that's what Xi Jinping and Putin are going to discuss. So when they say they're going to discuss Ukraine, they mean the overall picture of neoliberal globalism, and that's the really big story. The military campaign in Ukraine, that's just a small part to all of this. The economic sanctions and the collapse of the European Union, and the demise of the euro, and the eventual breaking free of U.S. dollar control, that is a big deal. The U.S. petrodollar, moving away from that is a big deal. Take a look at all the trade that's now happening between various countries in the SCO, as well as the trade that is going to happen between all countries of the SCO. They're talking about trading exclusively in national currencies and not using the USD at all. You're talking about all of Eurasia, China, Eurasia, Russia. Just take a look at a map. This is a huge area of the planet. India, China, Eurasia, Russia. I mean, we're talking about a huge chunk of the world that is putting together a system where trade is going to happen outside of the US dollar. That's big. Now that is big. So let the collective West mainstream media paint this little Hollywood picture of a defeated Putin meeting with his Red Emperor master Xi Jinping, so that they can figure out a way to defeat the clown puppet in Kiev, and they can run with that story. But the real big story here is the end of U.S. dollar hegemony. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about what's happening on the ground in Kiev. I mentioned that the Russian military continues to move on Bakhmut, and the Wagner group, I said the Russian military, but to be more precise, the Wagner group, these guys are moving steadily towards the liberation, the capture of Bakhmut. It's going to be tough, and it's going to take some time, but with each day they're making more and more progress. And once they take Bakhmut, it essentially means that Russia is going to have the liberation of Donetsk wrapped up. And Ukraine is going to fight very, very hard. The Ukraine military, they're very well dug into Bakhmut, and they're going to fight very hard. But it looks like the Wagner guys, they're making good and steady progress in encircling Bakhmut, and that's going to most likely be the strategy, is to encircle Bakhmut, to cut it off of supplies, and much like they did with Mariupol, and then just strangle the city. And once Bakhmut is wrapped up, then the Donbass is for the most part liberated, or at least it's on the way to full liberation. It's well on the way to full liberation, and I guess the strategy is to let Zelensky, travel to Izium and partake in a photo shoot of the liberation of Izium, an area in Kharkov, which the Russians saw no strategic reason to be there anymore, plain and simple. And so that's why they pulled out. And Zelensky, he traveled there the other day, and he took some photo ops, because that's what this is all about, right? It's all about media and optics, and that's what the Zelensky regime does really, really well. So he took some photographs, and then he went back to Kiev, and the news came in that his motorcade crashed with another car, and basically Zelensky got into a car accident. He's fine. The other passenger in the other car, from what I understand, was taken to the hospital, but no casualties. in this car accident, but that was pretty much Zelensky's trip to ETHEREUM and his return. So he went to ETHEREUM, he got his photos, he went back to Kiev, and he got into a car crash. And the other big story was the missile strike in Krivoy Rog, on a dam that was holding back, keeping the water levels very low in the Ingulets River. And what happened here is really interesting. So the Ukraine military, they had a presence on the other side of the river, and they were moving supplies over the river. And what the Russians did is that they hit the dam with a missile yesterday, and they caused all the pontoon bridges in the river to overflow in this region. And what it essentially means is that all the Ukrainian forces that are now on the other side of the river are essentially trapped in a cauldron now, because they have the Russians in front of them, to the left and to the right, and in back of them they have a river which is cutting them off from supplies and reinforcements. There you go. Simple as that. They took out the dam, and it seems like they've now encircled the Ukraine forces that were on the other side of the Ingulets. And I guess we'll find out today and tomorrow what's going to happen to that Ukraine military that is now essentially trapped in this type of cauldron. A very interesting move, and I think no one saw it coming. No one saw that one coming. But do I have another story? Let me think here before I get to my clown world, because I've got a really good clown world. I just saw the story about how the U.S. Senate is trying to pass a terrorism bill for Russia, even though the State Department and the Biden White House, they even understand that designating Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism would be an awfully bad move. It would essentially mean the breaking off of diplomatic ties between Russia and the United States. Even they see this. Blinken even understands this. But it looks like Lindsey Graham and various rhino senators, as well as Democrat senators, they don't seem to grasp this concept that designating Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism means that all diplomatic relations between Russia and the United States are essentially severed. And this goes way beyond the conflict in Ukraine. This has to deal with just about everything. Fighting terrorism globally, nuclear treaties, everything. And this is just such a reckless move, but I'm not surprised that Lindsey Graham would continue to push forward with this initiative. Lindsey Graham and Democrat Richard Blumenthal, two idiots, Dumb and Dumber, Graham and Blumenthal. And so it looks like the Senate now is going to push forward with some sort of legislation to brand Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism. No reverse gear, none whatsoever. Let's do a clown world. Oh, here we go. Kosovo says it will seek EU membership. Great. Kosovo, a country that's not a country, a place that's an imaginary country, is going to seek membership in the EU. It kind of actually makes sense, doesn't it? The EU has become a we'll take anybody club. We'll even allow imaginary countries to join the European Union. That's how crazy this has all become. But Kosovo said that they want to join the EU, according to the breakaway province's foreign minister, who said, we said we would apply this year, and we will apply this year, said Donika Gervala. This is what she said in a TV interview. We also notified our international partners that our goal is to apply this year because we want to enjoy EU candidate status. Yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy the candidate status of the European Union, which is becoming more and more meaningless with each and every day. The we'll take anybody club. The EU is the nightclub that anybody can get into. That's all the EU has become, the nightclub that'll take anybody. Actually, I'm probably actually phrasing it wrong. If you want to get into the EU, you have to hate Russia or allies of Russia. There's your prerequisite to get into the EU. It has nothing to do with finances or human rights or fiscal policy, none of that. You want to get into the EU, just show your Russia hate. Show your hate for Russia, or show your hate for Serbia or something like that, and come on in. Well, come on into this nightclub. You know, it's like you get to the door and the bouncer says, "Do you hate Russia?" And you say, "Yeah." And you could be dressed in like t-shirts, shorts, and flip-flops, right? And you're going to try to get into this nightclub, and the bouncer will say, "You hate Russia?" You'll say, "Yeah, okay, yeah, come on in." And then the next person behind you is, dressed really nice, slacks and dress shoes and collared shirt and looking all good. And the bouncer asks him, the EU bouncer says, "Do you hate Russia?" And that person says, "No, I don't have anything against Russia." You can't come in. You can't enter the club. Anyway, that is Kosovo. They want to enter the EU. Vander Crazy, by the way, is going to be traveling to Ukraine today, actually. And she's going to show her support to the Zelensky regime after the great Kharkov counteroffensive. And she's going to once again bow down to Zelensky and pledge her support to Ukraine. And always remember that pledging your support to Ukraine is not about pledging your support to the country of Ukraine. Ukraine is the avatar for globalism and neoliberalism. So van der Leyen is essentially going to Ukraine to partake in the ritualistic act of bowing down to Schwab and globalism and neoliberalism and stuff like that. And traveling to Kiev is like, it's like a pilgrimage, right? That's what it is. Pilgrimage to globalism and neoliberalism. So let's do a clown world and we'll wrap this video up. And this is a great clown world, courtesy of Lukashenko and Belarus. And I'm going to put the video down below. I'll show a little segment of the video, but I don't want to show it all because of copyright reasons. But Lukashenko was chopping wood, right? He's chopping the wood with his buddy there. I don't know who was next to him. Maybe another government official from Belarus. And they're having a talk as, they're chopping wood and they're getting ready for the winter. And Lukashenko was like, we're chopping wood here, and I just want to let all of our EU friends, our EU partners know that we're not going to let them freeze this winter. And Belarus has got plenty of wood, and here I am, the president of Belarus, chopping wood, not only for the people of Belarus to keep them warm, but I'll be chopping wood to keep the people of the EU warm. And it's just a funny video. I'll put a link to the whole video down below. I saw it on Telegram, so I'll put the Telegram link, but I'm sure if you search for it, you'll find it on YouTube as well, or any other platforms, Rumble and ODYSEE. And it's just Lukashenko, man, that guy. He is he knows how to troll. He knows how to troll really, really well. And that was just a funny video. And it's kind of right. He's kind of correct. People in Belarus are going to be warm. And I'm sure they've got plenty of heat and plenty of firewood to keep themselves warm. And maybe if they're kind enough, they will send some of that firewood to the EU, because you do read a lot of stories about how the European Union is not only undergoing deindustrialization and demilitarization at the hands of Russia, but it seems like the European Union is also undergoing deforestation. They're like forests that are being chopped down now. I read in Romania they're like chopping down forests, and it's just like this overall panic to get firewood in Germany as well. And maybe they should call up Lukashenko and get some of that firewood that he's chopping up in the video to help them out. Anyway, that is my video. theduran.locals.com. Check out Alexander's channel. Check out the Duran's channel. And what else? Look for us on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, and Telegram. Look for us on Telegram as well. And I am signing out for this video. Take care.